Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome out to another beautiful day. I get to start today with changing a pivot tire. This pivot was supposed to go around one more time. Came out here, and this is the field with the dead end ditch, and came out here to check it. The ditch was overflowing, the pivot was stopped, it's out of a line. So right here is not in line with right here because this tire is flat. This pivot, I don't know what its deal has been this year, but I think this is the 6th pivot tire that we have had to change this year. We've gone through a lot of tires. I don't know how many tires this pivot has on it, but we've probably changed a third of them. So, got a new pivot tire loaded up. We're gonna unload all this stuff and get this thing changed. We got it. That old tire was so heavy, this one. Oh, it was packed with mud around the rim, but then I also think there's water inside the tire. I was barely able to get it out of the hole. It was kind of stuck in the mud. I might try to load it up, but it might be too heavy. I might just have to hook onto it with a chain. We had to do it with another one. There's another tire sitting over by the ditch over here that Trevor had to just drag out because it was too heavy. So I'm gonna try and load it up, but if I can't get it, then I'm just gonna drag it to the edge of the field. We'll have to come out with the backhoe or the loader and load them up, take them in. But that should do a lot better job than that one. That one's packed with mud. But yeah, so the other thing I have to do is I have to walk this back till it gets in line. And then I did turn the ditch on before I came out here because I turned it on about 9 o'clock, takes 4 hours to get here. So after lunch, I can come out, start this pivot, let it do a pass, and then it should be off for 3 or 4 days. So let's attempt to get this thing loaded up. Well, after attempting to pick it up and just roll it over, I've decided it's too heavy. So we're gonna hook this chain onto it and just drag it out. Gonna hook this right here. Then hook the other end to the side by side. Somewhere. And hook this right here. Let's hope that that works. All right, moment of truth. Well, it is pulling it. Let me get you a better angle. Oh dear. It flipped over. Well, it's still hooked. And now that it's pulling on the bottom, it should actually lift it up. So that might actually be better. Good deal, fixed itself. Let's try that again. Well, that's working much better. All right. Now there's one more flat tire that we need to pick up. That worked pretty good when it just flipped itself over. And then it came out nice and easy after that. Well, now that that's done, I will start it up this afternoon, but until then, I have to go load some manure trucks. They're already hauling. I'm not sure who's loading them now, but I'm gonna go load some manure trucks. So I'm gonna let you guys see what everybody else is up to this morning, and I'll bring you back with the manure loader. Well, I'm out raking third crop hay. You can see how rough it is. We're kind of raking against the grain here. It was planted the other direction, so we're gonna bounce over all the passes. Getting dry. Should stop in here pretty soon. But that's what I've been doing the last 3 days. Raking hay. Been out here since 6 this morning. Woo, it's rough. Now I said I was going 5 miles an hour on the rough field. This one's nice and smooth. 12 miles an hour. Not even missing any hay. Alright, what's up? This is Chris here. So I know we're all doing some filming today. I thought I'd show you the start of the day. This is our fuel truck. It has a DEF tank here. We also have a, I think it's about a 240 gallon fuel tank. Yesterday that did not fill the combine all the way full. So if anybody out there is complaining about filling up your pickups or your cars with fuel, I think our combine's got like a 350, 400 gallon tank. It'll last 2 days, but I have to fill it with this every day just so I can hopefully get it topped off, so I don't have to get 2 loads. So what I did, if you can see, I got 2 pumps here. I got this one and this one. They're both, one coming out of each tank. They're 35 gallons a minute each pump, and so I just parked between them so I can stick 2 nozzles in to fill this 240 gallon tank, so I'm not here forever. Anyway, I will show you when I get out to the field how I fill up the back of the combine. All right, so now I'm up on the back of the combine. I just had one of another truck show up, but I'm up fairly high. As you can see, this ladder's kind of tall. Well, I'm filling diesel right here, and I just got done putting 5 gallons of DEF in. I didn't use our DEF pump because for some reason it foams up. These have a little screen right here inside the DEF tank so you don't get junk in there and plug up your really small DEF pumps. Anyway, so it was easier just to fill this 2.5 gallon jug and pour it in. But yeah, up here on top of the combine, see a little bit of wheat that I've spilled. But yeah, maybe I'll show you while I'm up here. We'll just go look inside the grain tank real quick. So these vents, they have a little latch right here. Open that up. This opens up to some stairs, and right here it actually has a hidden handle. You pop up and you can get up and look up in here. But that's looking down into the grain tank. Holds about just right around 500 bushels is what I can fit in there without doing a little bit of this, without running over so much. So anyways, we will get back to filling back here. There's a little pickup down there at the bottom. Here in the combine, just cutting some hard red spring wheat. We can kind of show you, I'll show you a little bit of the mesmerizing, beautiful, serene. There's lots of different adjectives you could use to describe the wheat just as it's flowing here in the wind and you're cutting it. It's peaceful. I just had a guy out here from Fent. His name is Ricky Dugan. He helps set up all of the Heston, Massey, Ferguson. He's over the Fent and Massey
high horse tractors. Anyway, he is the guy who you need to ask for questions if you can't get a hold of any of your service techs. And anyway, he was just passing through. Again, if you guys saw the video, this is the loaner machine. So, you know, shout out again to Agri-Service Anthony, the tech. Like you guys saw in the last video, they found out something was wrong with our machine. As soon as the tech got out there, diagnosed it was going to be down for more than 24 hours. It might be down a week. They got to order some parts. Part of our service agreement was if it's going to be down for that 24 hours, they'll send you out a new machine. Well, I think Anthony got out there about 10:30 or 11. He himself drove back to Blackfoot, which is about a 20-minute drive in a car. Took his service truck back there, drove to Blackfoot, and he drove the loaner combine out himself. And I think I showed you guys that, and I probably told you all that too. But then he stayed out here for several hours, just helping us get all the sieves and stuff set up. You know, if you look here, there's all these settings with the concaves, your rotor speed, your fan speed, your upper chaffer, your lower sieves, your tailings. You want to make sure you're not losing any grain kernels out the back, and you're still able to go the speed you want. You know, we're trying to make a good windrow for our baler. There's all sorts of stuff, but you can't beat service from when they tell you your machine's going to be down. We were running again by 1 o'clock, and so we weren't down for very long at all. He stayed out most of the afternoon, evening. You know, we were texting things back and forth, trying to get, you know, figure out some of the settings. And now there's hardly any kernels on the ground back behind us. Ricky's just coming through. He's over the whole kind of Pacific Northwest, and so he just stopped by because he was going to be in Idaho Falls tonight and rode with me probably, I don't even know what time it is, probably for the last couple hours. Rode with me, made sure all the settings were correct, made sure we weren't losing anything, and you know, it was good to sit down and chat with him. He has a lot of years of experience underneath his belt. Here's what we're going to try and do right now. If we can push all the right buttons, we'll unload into the grain cart. And so anyways, just a shout out to Fent, Agri-Service for their willingness and commitment to service. You know, I guess if you're going to have the word service in the title of your company with Agri-Service, then you better be good at service. And we do have some good techs, good mechanics who not only love their job, but they have a lot of experience not only running the machines, but fixing, working on the machines, and they're going to make it right. You know, we probably could have done a little bit of welding, you know, some hammering, cutting, maybe a bunch of riveting on our combine to make it get by for this year. You know, I only have about another 1,000 acres to cut, but he said, you know what, that's not making it right. Making it right is fixing it right and doing it the right way. So that's why I'm driving 1 year newer. I think this is a 24 model year Fent Ideal 9. So basically the same thing. There's a few little, you know, features here and there that are different on this one that is on mine. One thing that obviously for the operators, we look into creature comforts. You know, this one and mine, they have the heated, cooled, not massaging. Massaging would be nice, but they have the heated and cooled seat. But they both have underneath this passenger seat, they have a cooler. Well, this one isn't just a cooler. This one also has, I don't know if you saw my other videos, these are like trays to hold your stuff on both sides of me here. It's got a phone mount from Ram that also, it grips it quickly, but it also charges it. There is an iPad mount here that you probably saw. You can do a lot of stuff. I have my own phone mount up here, but anyway, there's just a lot of creature comforts in here. You know, this, like I was saying, this refrigerator, it was freezing a water bottle yesterday. That's how cool it can get in there. So I got a few cans of Coke in there right now, and I had to turn it down because I don't want my Coke freezing and possibly breaking. Anyway, so shout out again to Anthony and all the guys at Agri Service for taking care of us, and for Ricky Dugan for all of his traveling and his years and years of experience and wisdom with helping us out. And yeah, we appreciate it, and we look forward to later this week running side by side against the John Deere X9. They want to come out, and I'm sure that machine will do a good job too. You know, you get the machine set up in the same working conditions, and you know, they can probably all get to where they won't lose any grain out the back, and do a good job making a windrow and everything else. So but yeah, shout out to the service guys, and we'll keep cutting. We'll keep you updated on the next video, and yeah, we'll just keep after it. I'll do a little video here. I'll switch my camera around so that you can just kind of watch what I'm watching, watch the grain come in, and go from there. All right, here's that mesmerizing video of cutting wheat. We are in a rented field we call Dyes. Trevor was overwatering this one. We're getting, there's our bushel, roughly bushel per acre right there. That focuses. There's some spots that'll hit 180, almost 200 bushel. There's one, there you go. It's kind of jumping up and down, but yeah, this hard red spring wheat, this variety is called Hammer. At least on this field, it is doing pretty good. So this is my view. It will definitely put you to sleep because, as you can see, I'm not steering, running off of GPS. There's my GPS lines right here. If I hit this button, puts it all onto the field. You can see average, or the yellow is 130 to 180. That's kind of what our range is. And so yeah, that's this field's doing pretty good. We can go to, right now, our average bushel per acre, 154. Actual 157, 160 there to the right. Doing about 1,750 bushels per hour, which is pretty good. So anyway, we will just keep cutting. Got a little bit of down grain here, a few little strips, just a little harder to pick up, not too bad. You'll usually get the heads off of it, but when you're going with the wind, how the way the wind laid it down, it's a little harder to pick up. Yeah, it's another grain update today. You can see down there there's some of the semis. One of the semis. The grain cart is pretty well full, so we need to wait for another semi, because I'm pretty sure that semi is full too. But we will keep trucking. Just another update. I just got finished. I didn't get quite empty, but the grain cart is full. So we are right here behind the elementary school on a rented field, and that is what a full grain cart looks like. It's supposed to hold 1,075 bushel. That one is definitely probably exceeding that just a little bit. Anyway, so we're just right here behind the school. That's actually a cemetery over there. See if I can zoom in, you can kind of see the cemetery. And anyway, so we're just out here cutting, getting a little update. Hoping that these dark storm clouds here behind us, oh sorry, it's not wanting to focus. Hoping that the dark storm clouds do not catch up to us. I don't think they will. If you look this way, I mean, there's some thunder clouds in the distance, but I think we'll be all right for today. So we just about got this field done, and we'll move out to our rented feedlot field. So here is just a little bit of the grain coming in. And this is kind of what I get to look at all day to make sure it feeds in nice and easy, and get a lot of stubble. And yeah, we'll give Trevor a lot of straw to bale there. So it's just a little bit of what I'm doing today.
Good morning, guys. It's a little after midnight, so it's Saturday morning right now. Just out here baling some straw. It's a pretty nice, some decent windrows. Got a beautiful full moon. I wish you could see that a little bit better, but so far on this field, we're 245 bales just on this field alone. Sorry about the shakiness. This baler jerks the tractor pretty bad. But here's our Gazika moisture monitor, reading between 8 and 9% most of the time, sometimes a little lower. You can always tell when we get to a weedy patch though, because moisture meter, it'll jump up sometimes 20%. I got a few bales out here that got black paint on them. But I don't think we'll have a problem with any fires because this straw is extremely dry. Well, guys, run into a little problem this morning. I was baling along and we got a little green spot with weeds, and it sucked a whole big glob in all at once and jammed up the pickup reel. So now I gotta dig this out. Josh and I have been tasked with taking the wash plant back to Wada Farms in Pingree, and then we're going to pick up a vent stretcher and some parts for our big manure trucks and bearings and stuff, so we can get that fixed. As you can see, we're back to shop now. We got rid of our trailer, but another thing to show you, we picked up some parts, and I had to drive back because we had to scoot the seat forward, and Josh's legs are too long to drive to get this. This is what they packaged our window glass for the 721 loader in.
Well, instead of loading manure trucks, I just got a text that Trevor's done baling the hay on the hills. So I'm going to take this loader out and start bundling the bales together into stacks so that later, hopefully later today, we can get all the bales picked up with our lovely semi and get the water back on that field so we can water it up for fourth crop. Well, plans keep changing. I was in the loader, ready to go out to the field, and Christopher texted me and said that one of his pivots stopped and asked if I could go check it out. So now I'm going out to check a pivot, figure out why it stopped. Well, I went around and checked to see if it had any flat tires, and it doesn't, but there is a tire right near the end that looks like it might just be coming out of a mud hole. So see how it's flashing red? That's how you know that something's wrong. And the reason the water's still running is because this is just set to open. So if there's another pivot running on this system, this one will just water. So if the other one's shut off, it doesn't just blow up the main line, because this pump doesn't shut off automatically with any of the pivots except for one of them, because it needs to run with different pivots. So if one pivot shut it off, well, when that one shut off, then the other two were still going, it would just shut off. So we kind of have it set to just be on when it's supposed to be on. But I'm gonna try and figure out this. I'm gonna try and walk it back and then get it to walk forward again, and we'll see if we can get it going. Well, I couldn't get it going, so I had to walk out here. It looks like we just have a stuck pivot tire, but I don't want to shut the pivot off, so luckily all these drops have shut off. So I'm going to shut off a few of these so I don't get soaked doing this. Then I'm going to go kind of dig that tire out a little bit. We'll see if we can't get this thing going. Okay, shut off some drops. I'm still getting sprayed. You guys got a little water on you as well. But Yeah, it looks like we're just kind of dragging in the mud here. I'm just gonna try and dig this out a little bit, and then hopefully we can get it going. Okay, I kind of dug it out. It's hard right in front of it. It was just the gearbox and stuff was kind of hitting on some mud, so it was kind of holding it up is what I guess. So I kind of dug it out. Everything that's around it is hard, should be able to go. Also dug out this tire and cleaned out the tread so it can actually get some grip. I'm gonna turn all these nozzles on and then go back to the pivot center, see if we can get this started. Oh, well, I've had my shower for today. Like, I wasn't standing in the nozzles, in the spray, because I shut them off. But man, turning them back on, my feet were sinking like a foot into the mud, so I couldn't get away very fast. And they just got drenched by all those nozzles when I was turning them back on. So yeah, now I'm soaked head to toe. So even though it's gonna be 95 degrees today, at least for the next couple hours, probably feel pretty good. Haha, success. It went. And the only reason I know that is because all these other tires behind it are now moving. So if it wasn't moving, these wouldn't move. But since it leads from the end, so since that end one moved and got out of the mud, all these inner ones are starting to move to catch up. And it's no longer blinking. So we're gonna set it to the pump being on, set this back to where it was, and good to go. Success. Now we can go, bundle up some hay. All right, I'm out stacking bales. So right now I'm just bundling them. I gotta try and bundle them up. There's, I don't know, 200 bales out here, something like that. So I'm trying to bundle them. I've got a little bundle over here already started. Bundling the bales just means I stack 3 on top of each other, and then I try and group them together so that when the semi comes out, it's just a little bit quicker to load the semi. Now, normally that works just great and everything, but because Josh was raking the hay this morning, and I thought I would just have most of this day to get all these bundled, but I guess the hay got too dry to rake, so Josh is out checking one of his pivots, and then he will actually be, he'll be in here with the semi. So he's gonna be bringing the semi out probably after lunch, and I'm not gonna have all these bundled, but we'll start loading the semi. Now we do have one slight problem. We had the loader break yesterday. So when I was helping loading manure trucks yesterday, and they put the brakes inside the front axle, like in where the differential is. They put the brakes inside that. Well, it must have broke a brake line or something, and it filled the axle, the front axle that's down here. It filled it with all the brake fluid and blew out the wheel seal, and now it's just leaking all the fluid out onto the ground. So that loader is down. So we have 2 loaders with forks on them. So the other loader, not this one, but the other loader we were using the forks for was we were bundling up the straw bales. Well, we had to take that loader, so now we're not bundling straw bales because we needed to take the forks off, and we needed to haul manure with it. So now we put the bucket back on that, and we are now hauling manure with that one. So we only have 1 loader with forks on it, which is kind of a bummer, because now when Josh comes out with the semi, I'll have to load up the semi and then drive this loader all the way back over to where we're unloading the hay and stacking it, just to unload him and then drive back out. So it's gonna make it take way longer to haul all these bales because we're down a loader. So maybe we should invest in some forks, because I know they make bale forks for like the backhoe. So if we invested in some forks for the backhoe, we would actually be able to have the backhoe unloading, or this unloading, and have the backhoe loading. So it would make it a little bit quicker. But for now, we don't have any other forks, so we're just I got that in the wrong spot. We're just gonna have to make do with what we got. And it's just gonna take a little bit longer to do. This is one of the reasons I was not able to drive the grain cart this year and help do grain, because we have manure and hay and pivots. Like I just got that pivot unstuck for Christopher because he's out in the combine and can't do anything with it. So we just have a lot of other stuff going on, so I can't just be in the grain cart all day. But that's okay. We're still gonna try and get some good footage for you. And potentially, we have a pretty awesome combine video coming up soon, if everything lines up. But that's just a little teaser as to what we have coming up. So I'm gonna keep bundling hay, and when Josh gets out here later, we will start hauling this hay into the stack. This hay, one thing about it, because we got that Gazika moisture checker, and I will show you what that is right now. We have a Gazika moisture checker on our baler now. We actually know that these are not too wet, so we can just stack them normal. But here's some footage on the Gazika moisture checker that Christopher installed on our baler, and we will get hauling some hay in.
So I just thought I'd show you a little bit of what we were doing today. Trevor and I kind of put on. This is our New Holland 340 plus baler right here. And some of the stuff we were doing with it today was just to help control the moisture a little bit better. Anyone who does hay knows that that's kind of about all you fight is the moisture. Well, we decided to get a Gazika moisture reading sensor. So we installed it, and I was going to take an install video, but you know, you get busy, you get in the zone, you might say, of what you're doing every day, and you just kind of forget that, oh yeah, I was going to record that. So anyways, I will flip the camera around and show you exactly how we installed it, how we ran the wires, and what it looks like, and then kind of what it does. So here, I'll flip this camera around. All right, so here it is. It's called a Gazika moisture sensor, and what it does, it's kind of like LiDAR. So there is a box over there, and then a box over here, and it beams kind of across from each other. And the best I could explain it to somebody is it takes like an X-ray of each flake, and it takes the moisture readings of each flake, and then what it does, you can set the parameters to whatever moisture you want the hay bale to be at. And if it is above, I need to go get some spray paint cans, but if it's above the moisture, there will be a spray paint can go here, and this little solenoid right here pushes down, and it'll spray a dot on every flake if it is too high of moisture. So that way you're an instant read. I mean, the baler itself has some moisture sensors on it. They're kind of hard to see. They're up in there. If the camera would focus, it's right there. There's some on each side, and they just kind of take the moisture of what is touching those sensors. This one reads somehow, don't ask me how half of technology works, somehow takes the moisture across the whole flake and tells you exactly what that flake, and each bale right now, we'll say they average 35 to 40 flakes per bale. So it would be, you know, spraying paint. It'll paint a few flakes if they're too high in moisture. But anyway, we routed that, so each one hooks together with this, it's called the microwave cable, hooks together so they're reading together. Then we went ahead and ran, here's the bunch of wires we ran, as you can see, clear up, and kind of followed some other wires up through the baler where nothing was going to rub. and then down in here inside the frame rail underneath, and then this is the wire up here on top. It actually has a plug-in right here that we have a cap for, so when we're gonna unhook the baler from the tractor, we'll unplug it, cap it off, and then the monitor and cable that's up in the cab, you can see it right there kind of, it will stay in the shop where it's not gonna get damaged. So I set up the parameters up there. You kind of tell it what size of bale, 3x4 bale, 48 inches wide. Well, I'm trying to think what else you tell it. You set how much of each bale weighs. You tell it how much moisture you want it to have, and yeah, it will. So it will spray paint each bale. Let's get up here. Here is my quick start guide for this Gazika moisture sensor, and yeah, it's a lot smarter than I am, but we'll just turn it on here. We'll hear a lot of beeps, but you can set, you know, what field what you're in. It's in analyze mode, so right now it's testing across. It'll probably say there's no bale. Yep, no bale right there, and the baler's beeping at me. And so you can go in and right now it's on F, so fescue. I gotta go bale some grass either tonight or in the morning, and so if we're gonna bale alfalfa, you guys can set it to legume. And yeah, so that is part of the new moisture sensor we got for the baler. Stay tuned, and maybe in the same video we will show you what else we are getting for the baler. And I could give you a little hint to maybe look up. It's called Fiber with a PH. It's actually a triple bale stacker accumulator. So we're getting one of those that we're gonna have set up here as soon as we get some mounting brackets brought in, but it will stack 3 bales and put them off on the back, you know, set them on the ground. Once they're aligned and stacked perfectly, they dump off, and it'll save a lot of time with the loader going through the field stacking bales. So that is what we are working on and what we kind of did today. It's almost quitting time, so I think Josh and Trevor are headed to check fertilizer pumps. Taryn's out checking his pivots, and I got to go check my fertilizer pumps. So we will see you in the next one.
All right, Josh is out here now, so let's go ahead and get him loaded up. It's gonna take a little while because I don't have very many bundles, but it's all good. We'll get it. We will load up what we have. All right, we got Josh all loaded up, but I'm gonna have to go unload him. We're gonna unload that a little later because I have to go start that pivot up that I got going this morning. Got the tire changed, so we gotta go start that. Okay, I'm out here at the pivot now, but I need to walk it back to get it back in line. Get the end towers in line, and then I will start it up. Okay, it just clicked. Now I don't have to hold it. It's in line enough that it's going to continue, but I'm going to let it walk back just a little bit more to get actually in line before I start it. I want to make sure all of these towers are going to move before I start it, because once I start it, I won't be able to see anything because there will be water everywhere. Okay, it's back in line, but we're just going to get it started right now. There, it's all started up. It's going. Moving, it's watering, that's why it's blue. Now let's go back to hauling some hay. So I forgot to film what happened, but essentially I was almost out of the field and then the pivot shut off. And so the tire that I changed is now stuck. So I came and turned the pivot on really slow, and now I'm headed back to that tower to hopefully get there while it's still turning and get the shovel and kind of scrape it and try and get it unstuck. So, second stuck pivot tire of the day. Yay me! Okay, so you can see this is the new tire we just put on. It is still turning. I'm gonna try and dig it out a little bit and try and get it going here. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to get these unstuck. Now I'm not stuck. Pretty sure I'm not stuck. Yeah, I'm not high centered because that's not even touching. It's just stuck in some mud. So I think if I can clean some of these treads out while it turns, we might be able to get it going here. Get some of this slop out of here. Luckily this pivot is off and I don't have to worry about it getting me soaking wet again. All right. I don't know if we're making any headway here. Usually it just climbs right out. I can't figure out why it's even stuck. Maybe let me go dig. Let me go dig on the other end. Maybe the other end is really stuck. I don't know. Let's see. That one's not really buried either, so. Oh, but there's a lot of muck in front of this one. If I get this out, we might have some sort of success. I am getting a little bit wet, but nothing like if the pivot was on. Then I'd be really getting wet. Oh. Move, pivot. Move. Yeah, it's not moving. It is not moving. Ugh. Whew. All right, well, I'm gonna keep at this and we'll see if we can get it going. I'm going to attempt to pull because what I was doing was not working. So I'm just trying to give it a little nudge. It's working, it's working, it's coming. I'm not spinning my tires, I'm just giving it a little bit of pressure so it can get over that little ridge. It was just stuck on a little tiny ridge. And I think we might be out. Now I gotta go unhook my chain before it runs over my side-by-side. It's gonna run me over. I gotta unhook it. Oh. It's coming. Be it slow, but it's coming. All right, I think we're out of the hole. Luckily, let me get this put back in side by side and get out of the way before it runs me over. Whew. Okay, now I gotta go start it again. Oh, that's much better. Now it's going. Good deal. So this is a pivot in a different field that I needed to start today as well. But this is also the field I have pumpkins growing. Ooh, look at that. I've got some pumpkins. Let's go check. There's another patch of pumpkins over there. Let's go check on those. Now this patch did a lot better. It's got a lot more vine and I think a lot more pumpkins. Big ones, little ones. Man, I can see a bunch. There's one right there. A whole bunch right there. There's a bunch of pumpkins. We have pumpkins all over the place. This is awesome. I've never got pumpkins to grow very well. This is the first time, so I'm excited about it. Got all over. And I don't know if I did this right. But needless to say, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of pumpkins. They might be little because I didn't pluck any of the flowers off, if that's something that you have to do. But there's pumpkins, and a lot of them. All right, guys, well, I got back to the shop. Josh is out helping Christopher. He had a couple flat tires on the trailer for the header. So Josh is out helping him. He had to go find some tires, so I don't have anybody to run the, whatever it's called, the thing that hauls in the bales, the semi. Don't have anything to run the semi. Brain fart, couldn't think of it. So they've been hauling manure all day, and I gotta catch up the manure by the end of the day. We like to disc it in, helps the nutrients get in the ground. So we got our 9510 hooked up to our disc. This thing discs a lot of ground. These discs, they're not completely wore out. They work good for this because we're just disking stubble, but we are also gonna be disking all the potato ground. So probably between manure hauling and spud harvest, we're gonna have to change all these discs. But I'm gonna grease it up and head out to the field, and we're gonna go do some disking. All right, we're going. Got it all set up. Got the Lemkin Reuben 12 disc out here. This is a high-speed disc. You can see that it's kind of dusty. That's because this is wheat stubble, and it has been off for like probably 2 months. So it is very dry. But because it's dry and we're only going this far into the ground, we're really not going that far, we're able to go 12.5 miles an hour. So we're disking this at 12.5 miles an hour. This thing is doing an awesome job, as always. Once you go through, I'll show you guys here in a little bit, but once you go through, you about can't tell that there was ever stubble and manure here. It just looks like a nice dirt field. You have a few little bits of stubble and straw sticking through, but for the most part, it's all gone. And it leaves a nice smooth finish. We do love our Lemkin equipment. They make some good stuff. But we're gonna keep going here. They haven't gotten too far. These dark clouds make me nervous for the wheat because we don't want it to rain on any of the wheat or the hay. We have hay down too. They've only gone about halfway across this field and going 12.5 miles an hour. I'm pretty sure I can catch it up in a couple hours. So we're gonna keep on rolling and see what we can get done. We're farmers, the backbone of society, ignored until the whole system can't stand without us. We're the nation's sweatshop workers. Except our factory's the sky, our hours never end, and our paycheck depends on whether or not God decides to water the fields. We'll gamble our entire year on a forecast that was wrong yesterday. We'll spend thousands fixing equipment that will break again tomorrow. And we'll wake up before dawn just to be told that we're ruining the planet by people whose entire diet comes wrapped in plastic. We'll work through heat waves, droughts, and government regulations written by people who can't even keep a houseplant alive. We'll work while politicians use us as props, grocery stores squeeze us for every last cent, while the same people who demand local and organic throw a fit when strawberries aren't in season year-round. We'll watch corporations buy up farmland and middlemen make millions, all while consumers blame us for prices we have no control over. And at the end of it all, when the weather's had its way and the government's taken its cut, and the store shelves are full, we'll still be told we should have done better. Our hands are cracked, our backs are shot, and our bank accounts are empty. But rest assured, we'll be told to work smarter, not harder, by somebody whose entire job is sending emails. So here's to farmers, the overworked, underpaid, weather-watching magicians who somehow keep the shelves stocked even though everybody complains about the price of eggs. May your equipment hold together and your livestock stay in the fence. And may the next person who says, "Why don't farmers just take a day off?" be forced to cut 40 acres with a scissors. All right, guys, well, I've been out here disking for a while. I've done all that. I'm probably over halfway done with this field, and they're not too far ahead of me. It wouldn't take me that long to catch that up, but I have to go out and help Christopher in the combine. Man, what happened here? Oh yeah, that's where Christopher chopped the riser off with the combine header. So he didn't see it and just chopped it right off. Yeah, they're moving fields, and the field they're moving to is quite a ways away. So my grandpa's coming out to pick me up, and I'm gonna go out and we're gonna help move all the equipment over to the other field. So we will We'll be back to the disc a little bit later, but for now, we're gonna go out and help move the combine. So one thing about that riser that Christopher chopped up, it had a steel T-post, like a fence post, right next to it. And just to show you how strong and how powerful those header knives are, it chopped that T-post into 3 pieces. So there's 3 pieces of T-post kind of holding up the riser. And he did have to change like 5 knives, but that's it. He changed some knives, good to go. But it just sliced a thick T-post, a steel post, cut it right in half 3 times. Crazy. There's the combine. So Josh is gonna take the grain cart and I'm gonna pull the header. We have to cross the highway and there's a lot of traffic these days. This is probably the sketchiest part about wheat harvest, is driving all the equipment down the road, because there's a lot of people who've moved here from out of state and they've never had to deal with tractors, and they'll try and pass you. You can take up the whole road and they'll try and squeeze past. If you give them an inch, they'll try and take it. And that's how a lot of wrecks happen. So we always try to just take up the whole road so people can't get by, because it's more dangerous if you give them a little bit of space. So hopefully we get there, no problems, no accidents. We have had accidents in the past, so we are trying to avoid that. This is one of the worst spots, is we have to cross the bridge over the river. This is the Snake River. This is where all the water comes from. And there's no way for him to get out of the way, so if there's a car coming, they need to stop. But here's the Snake River. It's lovely. Alright, luckily there were no cars coming. All the roads around here have gotten so busy these days that it's hard to avoid traffic. And it's also quitting time. So that's another wonderful thing about today. Well, it just started to rain, so they might be done with the combine for today. It doesn't take a whole lot of rain to stop the combine, and it's raining pretty good. And it looks like those clouds are dumping a lot more. So that's not good, but this is the first rain that we've had in probably a month, maybe more. We've only had 2 rainstorms this entire summer for like the past 3 months. And then all of a sudden it decides to rain when we decide to harvest our wheat and cut our hay. We have hay down too. So that's just fantastic. You know, as an old farmer once said, if you want it to rain, just cut your hay. It'll rain. Well, we made it out here with no problems. This is the field that's right next to where we dumped all those rotten potatoes. So once we get this all harvested off, we can spread those nasty taters out over here and give it some fertilizer. There's the combine. But judging by the fact that Christopher's pickup is not out here, I think he decided that it was raining and it was too wet and they left. But I gotta stay out of this. There's loose gravel right here. I need to stay out of that because it's gonna get me stuck. I'm just gonna pull up here enough so Christopher can get to the header to get it hooked up. That should be good. Well, there's the combine.
What's that?
Christopher is, he's gonna wait until it at least stops raining. It's still kind of sprinkling and the clouds look like they could drop some more. So he may take the combine and hook up to the header once it stops raining and make a pass and see how wet it is. Man, doesn't that combine just look so nice? Nice black combine. Just, man, that thing's awesome. It's just an awesome combine. But we might have something pretty exciting coming up. We'll see. I hope next week could be pretty awesome. So subscribe if you haven't, because it's gonna be sweet. Okay, Christopher has decided he's gonna hook up the header. So Josh is over here undoing the straps. We gotta unstrap it and then he can come hook it up. He's just so nice. So pretty. It looks nice being black. Except for the rain, it's gonna make all the dirt stick to it. But I know we haven't gotten a whole lot of outside of the combine footage. I know Christopher's filmed a bunch running it, so might as well give you a little bit of outside the combine footage. This thing's just pretty amazing. Granted, this one's not even ours. Ours is identical to this one, but when they were working on ours in the winter, they forgot to tighten a couple bolts and the sieves kind of came apart. So this is a loner until ours is fixed. See if he can get it first try. Nope. Maybe? Ooh. Maybe. I think it's in there. There we go. Got the combine header all hooked up. Ready to harvest another field of wheat. That's a beefy header. It's just big. And I know it's not the biggest. It's a 40 foot. I know it's not the biggest header they make, but it's a big header for us because our old one was only 30 foot and the one before that was only 25 foot. So this is a big header for us. Ready to cut another 1,000 acres of wheat. Just getting everything hooked up. Ready to go. So all you have to hook up is the PTO, and this is all your hydraulics and electrics, right?
And then this latches the header off.
Yeah.
Like so it couldn't actually like,
couldn't fall
there's
off.
hooks that go in on the bottom. See these pins?
Oh, yeah.
That's something like that. Goes in, goes out, so it won't fall off.
Nice.
Then you hook the PTO up, you drop the 4 things on there, and then because we moved so far, I'm going to time the header, time the knives. So you run the left knife all the way out, and then you run the right one all the way out, and then hook the right drive line up. So then they're timed in and out.
All right. A lot of little things to make it work right. It's just unfolding the grain tank. Get ready to go try it. All right, well, Christopher's gonna go start, and I have to get back to disking. And yeah, so he's gonna go start cutting some wheat. See if it'll too wet. See if it's too wet, I guess. All right, well, I'm back in the disc tractor. I just have, I don't know, maybe an hour to go. But turns out the manure is too sloppy for them to haul it now. So I think we're about done hauling manure. So this may be the last day for a while that we have any manure to work up and haul. The manure trucks just, they can't haul sloppy stuff. It just leaks out all over the place. So we either got to make it solid or not haul anymore. All right, we're going around this riser. Stop and take a quick look at it. Hey, it's even full of water. It just sheared right through the metal riser, and then those 3 pieces of T-post are the ones that got cut into multiple chunks. That is crazy. Nothing left there. I'll dig that up and fix it. What would be funny is if I hit it with the disc. All right, I'm on my final pass of this field. There's really not a whole lot left. It probably would only take me another hour to do the rest of it, but we need to haul manure on it. But they need to get the manure solid enough to haul. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope you go down below and hit subscribe if you haven't. Also fill out the form for the RMF Club. We send out free stickers every week to random people on that list. And I love you, and I'll see you in the next one.
Bye.